done. So, well played to Carl.
Yeah.
You ready?
He's been practicing. Very quick stuff from Carl.
It'd be fun to see how these lanes unfold. The Mars mid, it's actually been a while since we've seen, at least in the games we've covered, where Mars has gone mid. We haven't seen it since groups. We didn't see it at all in groups for us. So Carl should still hold steady. And the value changes on Mars do make it slightly weird, but it's overall still the same kit. Still probably going to look for the same timings on your Blink, on your Yules. And it looks like Carl is already sort of preemptively queuing up that Yules on hand. So he knows what he wants to go for. He knows what setup he wants. Of course, with the Mars mid, that does mean you're not getting the Shadow Demon Mars combination, as Xepter is not going to be camping that mid. So any sort of early aggression you can expect with Disruption Spear isn't there. We'll just have to see if Xepter KuKu on the Shadow Demon and CK can get the same aggression out with this duo.
Let's see how it all does pan out. The Banner Runes are set to spawn in about 30 seconds from now. Well, for now, TNC, they don't seem to be very interested in trying to contest the bottom ones. They are just going to sit back and take it easy while T1 take those bottom bounties. Of course, they are going to be able to get the top bounty runes, so it's not too big of a deal for TNC. It's a very even trade once again for this game number 2. Does pan out. Kpii, of course, up at the top lane of the Bloodseeker is going to be there with Tims on the Tiny. They are going to be up against the JaCkky PA. In terms of kill potential, John, I mean, there is definitely kill potential there if you do get a nice avalanche toss back into the Blood Right. That being said, though, when you've got an Undying to back you up as the PA, once you've got Soul Rip, it can be quite difficult to get through the HP pool of the Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, I'd say Whitemon, once he hits level 3, going 1-2 on his spell build is just going to make that lane harder, although...
Yeah, nice little toss back for Whitemon. He's going to avoid it.
Yeah, it's going to be a steady lane. Kpii, of course, usual build is Tourist at level 2 just to hold the lane. Not going to see any sort of amplification with Blood Rage. Honestly, I feel like Blood Rage has been sort of underutilized. Say you've got this Tiny, you got an Avalanche Toss combo with Blood Rage up with a Spell Amp. You're going to do a lot of damage, but it's not a priority for a lot of teams. We'll see if that's going to hold steady here, but it should be. You've got Tims already getting a pull off, so he's going to find his level 2. Something TNC really likes to do. They prioritize Tims' early levels. Kpii ends up having a bit of a harder time, but he is harassing JaCkky out fairly well as well.
That he is. Of course, in the mid lane, we should have a look at the other lanes while we still have a chance. You've got Carl up against Armel. Now, Armel doing a pretty darn good job already. Been dishing out a lot of harassment onto the Mars. Of course, you just saw he went for that Observer Ward and ended up picking it up quite quickly, so Armel getting some bonus gold and XP for himself by taking out that ward. And Carl, he's enjoying himself in terms of farm on this Mars. In terms of trying to slow Armel down at all, it does not look like they're really going to be able to achieve that with this Mars pickup. So it is going to be a much more kind of even trading lane, it seems.
Yeah, it's just going to be a steady farming lane for both sides until you see level 6 come in. No big kill potential. Maybe a support could come true and set up. In that case, I'd say Xepter is the one to look out for Carl, and for Armel, I'll pass some Tims. But the supports are fairly busy. It's going to be just farming and exchanging there. We'll see if that changes anytime soon. The power runes should be sort of important, but not the most pertinent for either side, as it is just steady farming. We'll see if these supports can come true and help them with that. You look down bot. Xepter is hanging around with KuKu. It's the Shadow Demon plus the CK lane. They are up against Gabbi on the Jug, and you've got Febby around on the Enchantress to help out. So far, been a steady lane for Gabbi. Last hits are looking fairly clean. KuKu is not too far behind, but overall, rather even laning start for both sides. Probably waiting for some level spikes. You do have level 3 up in Gabbi. He could try to go for spin plays, but you don't really have the best of tools from Febby so far. He does have a nice troll creep with the ensnare. So if they get to cap close out and get the spin tree, it could be a kill, but you have to watch out for that disruption.
That you do. A lot of harassment out from Febby. Of course, the Enchantress just such a lane-dominant style of hero. Very, very hard to lane up against that hero at any stage with any hero. It's mid lane, you look back, Armel still having a great old time. Carl still remaining very low in terms of HP. Of course, those power runes, I mean, you already brought this up earlier, but it is going to be very, very impactful for either mid laner to be able to pick up that first power rune, especially depending what it is. And, we'll both have empty bottles right now, so both are kind of desperate for it. I haven't seen the supports rotating quite yet, but it does seem as though TNC are bringing Febby over, and you even see Tim's on the Tiny moving up towards that top rune spot. And thus far, only one from T1 is coming in, and that's going to be down at the bot rune spot where Zephyr is going to be around. Mel getting very lucky. A DD rune of all things being picked up. Even gets a salve off his support Enchantress, and well, with that, I mean, with the TD, you could pretty much claim that Armel has won the mid lane.
Yep, he should be able to have a good time here last hitting. Carl is just getting forced to watch for a bit as that rune fades out. This is really down to the fact that TNC's invested a lot. Like, they've got those 2 wards, watching the rune spots as well. They got their supports out a little bit better. Whitemon was tied up top. So they are putting a lot of emphasis on getting this Void Spirit online, and Armel should be able to deliver. Of course, you are giving JaCky some space up top, but it's still not that steady for him.
Well, Whitemon could be in big danger here. He's been silenced up by that Blood Rider. The toss in, Whitemon still going to be able to get the Soul Rip off in time. Dropping very low. Tim's there to block him off for a second, and kpii is able to pick up the first blood. And that's very unfortunate for T1 as KuKu. He was just a second away from being able to get that bonus gold himself on the CK as he does kill off Febby. Unfortunately for him, though, it does seem as though kpii is able to pick up the first blood gold first.
Structures are fortified.
Still going.
KuKu. Yeah, he's been enchanted up. Gabbi just going to go back onto Zephyr as the disruption was there anyway. He preemptively thought, I better just not waste my time on this CK. But now KuKu coming back in for the fight. Avalanche, however, going to be there from Tim's. He has a mango for the toss in. And with that impetus shot, it is going to be enough to take down the CK. In fact, Febby seeing if he can get lucky with the Shadow Demon, but Zephyr is going to be able to back off in time. TNC will pick up their second kill of the game.
Yeah, just a good amount of gold going in from TNC. Really good aggression here from Tim, seeing the opportunity to TP in, finding kills across the map, and just setting up. They might even find more, camping out those runes.
Well, Carl gets this one. Haste rune up on the Mars. He does not connect the Spear on the Enchantress, but he does end up getting Tim's on the Tiny. That's even better, but the Avalanche toss is going to fly through. With that haste, he's going to try and make a run for it. Carl should be fine to get away as Armel. He'll go on to Zephyr instead, and they do end up getting the Shadow Demon, but now Febby's going to go down, and Carl is still just kind of taunting them as he runs around in circles. Armel still trying to fight this one out, goes for an Astral Step. Carl might just drop here, and he does. Armel able to get the kill. Carl sticking around a bit too long, and even with that haste rune, it just wasn't going to be enough up against the Void Spirit of Armel.
That is such a big loss. They waste so much time in that power rune. They managed to find one pickup. You trade the bigger hero away. And for Armel, this was a lane that he was already winning. He's just winning even harder now. Hits level 7 now. Just having a lot of impact with his steps. T1 have to be pretty cautious. Their lineup, I mean, Carl can fight early, but you are waiting for everyone else to be online.
Armel gone back in. They have Febby around to help out with that Alpha Wolf. He's actually amplifying quite a bit of damage here. But Armel is out of Astral Steps. Still, they have another kill out with the Resonant Pulse. And, well, for some reason, KuKu gets the tip. I feel like that may have been a bit of a misclick from Armel, but it won't matter. KuKu, he's going to enjoy the free bus shots. Very nice stuff.
Armel's going to enjoy that kill as well. He gets to climb up. They're keeping Carl pinned down. It's going to be their major, initiator early on. He's going to be the major team fighter early on for the side of T1. And Carl is forced to smoke to walk back in lane because he has no TP. You never like that feeling as a core, having to smoke out, waste that timed resource just to get back in, but you have no choice. And look at TNC. Look what Febby's doing. He's just disrupting these camps in the triangle, getting some stacks away. He scouts out the stacks as well, so it's not going to be a free ride here for T1. And we saw TNC do the same thing in game 1. They had early triangle wards, keeping track of where JaCky would want to farm, and down the line they contest that farm.
Absolutely.
Where are you going?
He's spotted there, Febby. Start with the impetus shots, but KuKu is going to rotate on the CK, and that should mean a dead Febby.
The good dude.
There's no way he gets out of this one. He gets crit to death by KuKu. Nice little pick up there from T1. Still say TNC is sitting very happy right now. I mean, even look over to Gabbi on the jug. His farm's not the best, but he is going for that Battle Fury build-up, which does mean that he is set to escalate pretty quick once he does have that up. Thing is, JaCkky is going for the exact same thing, so it is going to be one of those standard kind of pos 1 farming games between the two. In game 1, though, that did end up favoring Gabbi. And as I say that, KuKu actually ends up going down to the bot lane. Armel, with the rotation out, does kill off the CK.
Yeah, just setting up for Gabbi again, helping him get that initial farm into his Battle Fury. And Gabbi was a bit behind KuKu earlier, kind of corrects itself now. Not too far behind JaCkky. I'd say you're a lot more scared of the juggle though on top.
Oh, JaCkky. No, it's not going to be JaCkky. It's rather going to be kpii getting caught out. JaCkky now going to get ruptured up into the blood right, but he is going to be able to survive. That's a nice rotation out from Carl, going after the offlane Bloodseeker. kpii was farming very nicely in that offlane. Be a very worthwhile kill for T1. As now Carl will just happily back off. T1 will just ensure that JaCkky continues to have a very nice time up at this top lane.
Yeah, they're just making sure that the Battle Fury timing is on point. Looks like we might see it within 15 minutes for sure here for JaCkky. And he does have some good stacks up. They just need to be aware that their triangle is just constantly invaded by Febby. They need to punish this Enchantress. They've gotten a couple of kills. They have gotten the D-ward off as well. But the sooner you can clear these stacks, the better, because the Juggernaut can clear fairly well as well with his spin. And you can even commit the Omni Slash early now if you wanted to.
Nice kill there. Armel and Tim's able to clean up Zephyr. And an immediate smoke out. Now Armel, he doesn't have any Astral Step charges. He might be able to get one by the time they reach an opponent. So they are going to be banking quite a bit on the Avalanche toss opening of Tim's. And they'd love to find this PA who is very low in terms of mana and HP at the moment. JaCkky, it looks like he is barely going to avoid death as TNC are looking into the mid lane. They were having a look at Carl, but Carl has retreated back down to the bot lane. So instead now, TNC, they spot out some stacks and they will happily take those instead. Not the worst, not the most worthwhile smoke out from TNC, but they get something for their trouble.
Yep, this is still hurting JaCkky a lot more, and they invade that tier 1 bot. kpii not actually spotted out, so he's saved.
That's
Dire's top tower
that's kind of insane that they did not spot him out. He is going to be just fine to get out. Now they notice he was there the whole time. It's just a bit too late, so a nice little sneaky spot there by kpii. And while that was happening, mid lane, TNC, they start getting that T1 mid tower pushed in. It is going to be fortified. The siege creep is also going to die.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Does make it slightly harder. But you can kind of see how confident TNC are around the map right now. They just aren't really afraid of anything from T1. We'll just keep occupying this dire jungle.
Is under attack.
Yeah, they do have stronger heroes early. They've got this Tiny that's very explosive even without the blink. You've got kpii who's just making use of the space really nicely in the hard lanes that are left alone. And Armel's just got this way of jumping in and punishing anyway. So it's forcing T1 to play a lot more safe. They've only got the triangle so far to clear out. You do see JaCkky starting to clear some of the ancient stacks, but without the Battle Fury, it's all down to Blur. Once that Blur fades, it's going to be a bit vulnerable to taking damage, and you see TNC just constantly shoving the top tier 2. So it forces a response up to T1, and it's just not quite lining up. This is definitely favoring TNC as they control the top jungle and the bot jungle and their own triangle. So many more spots to be efficient with farm. And so much protection here for Gabbi. He's just allowed to really build up in this jug.
He is. So is JaCkky though, right? Like he's still just roaming around the map, just doing classic JaCkky farming stuff, and well, he's one item away from having that Battle Fury up now. Very, very close in terms of farm, JaCkky and Gabbi. Dire jungle is still being occupied by TNC, and they are still looking down that mid-tier 1 tower. You have got the enchanted creep there by Febby, so you can just let that tank for you and you can get started on getting a bit more damage out. Whitemon's going to preemptively drop the tombstone, and Carl was moving in for the arena, but Armel is going to be able to dissimulate away from that position.
Radiant's
it's going to be just fine.
Is under attack.
while that's happening, I mean, Gabbi just keeps pushing out the top lane as well. So a very aggressive style of farming here from Gabbi. Xepter gonna try and go onto the jug, but spin is gonna be there. Still, he'll go for the purge instead. He does have his team coming in to back him up, and without this spin, Gabbi, he might be sitting up, but a great avalanche out from Tims. Gabbi's still trying to... Ooh. What was that damage? Ooh. How many shadow poisons do they have on the guy? Carl, he'll find another.
It's under attack.
He took 1,417 magical damage. Jesus Christ.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
I think he was also, yeah, he was affected by Soul Catcher. That just burned right through him. Rather
JaCkky.
unfortunate.
He's going to be fine. He just TP's away. KP, no way to cancel the TP yet. That was a lot of damage out. I didn't quite see the Shadow Poison stack, so I wasn't aware that that was kind of happening from Zephyr. But boy, oh boy, they just blew Gabbi up.
Yep, just a lot of damage coming through. You gotta respect the damage on the Shadow Demon. It can really nuke you down. You don't have any stat items here on Gabbi. So putting a dent in the jug here, big win for T1, drags that net worth down. They are catching out one big hero here though.
Yeah, JaCkky getting caught with his pants down is not going to feel very good for him. They come in, a nice spear out, he catches out Armel, and with that the purge does come in though. Armel is going to dissimulate, pops the illusions as well. Shadow Poison, it's only going to be one stack. So he's going to be able to survive through all this damage output. That was a lot committed by T1, and they don't really get much out of it.
They lose their big hero as well. JaCkky just too far forward. He does have his Battle Fury up. This is when JaCkky should just go back in that jungle, clear out the stacks again. The support should just build up some stacks, and rather awkward pause typing as KuKu is alone up top, and you see Gabbi, and you've also got Armel freshly TP'd in. Might be looking to reveal this fresh Yule's up for a kill.
Uh-oh. Can Gabbi get this kill though? It's no Phantasm on KuKu. He does have the illusion already out though. Armel is around the corner, so that's definitely going to help. In fact, with Armel there, that probably is going to be more than enough.
There's a creep wave coming in though, so Omni Slash is not going to be as strong, as it's not too far off. If it stalls out for like a second or two, that creep wave is going to be right inside bounce range. Not going to be very comfy for Gabbi. And it's a bit of a risk to take a fight. Like if you win this fight, you might have your Claymore ready to go very fast and finish up that Battle Fury for Gabbi. If you don't win, well then it's kind of a waste of time, but they have a wave to clear out at least. But we'll see what happens. Seems like some lag issues here. KuKu was the one to say that Dota was favored by his ISP. Doesn't look like the case right now, KuKu. No? It's a bit preemptive with your claim there earlier. PLD.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit preemptive for sure. But I'd say any kind of comment is pretty preemptive when it comes to that specific company. There we wait for KuKu to be back. Does reconnect very, very quickly. Ready to go ahead, and yeah, there we go. Ready to go. Gabbi gonna move his way in, but it looks like KuKu is gonna be able to back at least for now as Armel. Aether Rim not gonna land, and that'll pretty much be it. In fact, they don't even find him with the TP out. They did have the Yule Scepter available on Armel, but it's not going to be very useful if you can't see the hero, and KuKu, a very nice little blind spot there to be able to TP himself away from danger.
Yeah, just saves himself right in the nick of time, so that wastes Armel's TP a bit, wastes some time on the Void Spirit. You really do want to start finding some more kills with the Yule's up on Armel. It's going to be itching to find some kills, but so far, just not finding the opportunity. Maybe here on Zephyr.
Zephyr would be nice. They have caught him. Zephyr, he's going to go for the disruption, but he is in big trouble. Just delaying the inevitable there, and KP will take the kill with the blood right. On some more, they don't really have the Rupture now, so Whitemon should be just fine to walk away, and so should be JaCkky as well. Of course, they have the Rod of Atos, but it's probably not going to be enough. And with that, TNC once again back into the mid lane, just applying more pressure onto that tier 2 mid tower. And we saw a very similar thing in game 1 with TNC. Just really trying to focus in on making sure someone's always in that mid lane, trying to defend the tower. And while they do that, of course, they go back to the Dire jungle and take that over. Which kind of allows everyone on the side of TNC to get so much farm in.
Yeah, they're just really efficient on the map. The one boon here for T1 is that JaCkky is farming quite well by himself, but Gabbi's not too far behind. It's the same story from game 1. You don't have a considerable enough lead on JaCkky to really be comfy, and Gabbi, he's got his own Battle Fury ready, so he's just going to be keeping pace. You're never going to have an item advantage on that PA.
No, that you are not. Big smoke up now, T1. They want to try and make a team fight happen. This is before they have the Ags on the CK, so it's not going to be as strong as you would like, but he is still able to fight early on, but still TNC now going for a counter smoke. Carl is going to be the one to break it. A blink away from Tims. kpii getting caught out by the Yule Xepter. They get the spear off as well, but a nice toss away from Tims back into the neutral camp. kpii still in big trouble. Drops the Blood Right. Has the Rupture as well. He's been perched up. Dissimulators there. kpii does eventually die. Does not get the Rupture out. Meanwhile, Armel getting skewered, or rather speared down to the low ground. He had no way out either. They are still going after him. Armel, Rift is not going to be there. Still in trouble. Is going to Resonant Pulse, running away. Now the Omni comes out. Gabbi, it's going to be a decent Omni. A very slow kind of attack out, but they can go after KuKu now. The Phantasm Illusions are gone, and they will get the CK as well as Whitemon on the Undying. And overall, it looked really bad to start, but TNC, they came out on top again.
Yep, they're going to be happy enough with finding those kills. They come out on top, keeping KuKu down. This CK, the timing into Ags is not going to be as quick as you'd want it to. He's taking the backseat in farm. He's copying the deaths for his team. This opens up a bit of an opportunity as well to shove that top tier 1. They do not have Gabbi around anymore though. It's just Tims and Febby, but Gabbi's going to get some space out for his own farm. So overall, still playing in that game plan that TNC loves to do. And they're just going to force T1 to make a play.
Oh, nice blink in from Tims, knowing exactly where Xepter was, but Febby can't tank the tier 2 tower hits. Carl's going to come in, should be able to land his spear. Meanwhile, Tims trying to TP away, but he will get punished for this. And poor old Febby was trying to back up his boy. It does not work out the way they intended. Xepter does survive, and TNC will lose 2 supports in the process.
Good come around from T1. That kind of compensates for what they lost in the last exchange. They do get a bit of a bounce back there. They are still finding steady farm coming through. You can see Gabbi was playing a bit aggressive farming in the enemy triangle, but so far it is paying off as there's no real punishment to stop him, especially once he spins out. So perfectly fine here on TNC's end. They are still waiting for T1 to finish up this Ags on KuKu, but they have this Desolator up on JaCkky. So he can start melting some heroes if he wants to jump in, get some damage off. The BKB is going to be a lot more important though. And that should be the point where JaCkky goes into fight once the BKB is up. Compare that to the timings that Gabbi's going to be doing. He is saving up for a Sanj. Looks like he might go for a SNY build here. Fairly standard, but it does mean you're not going to have a way of getting through that evasion on the PA here.
kpii and Febby trying to move into this high ground, but kpii's been caught out by disruption. They aren't going to make the jump in, however. But they were a bit afraid that TNC may have been right behind kpii, but he was in fact only with Febby. Of course, Gabbi came in from the later stages, and Tims was to the north. T1 still being very careful, still just trying to buy time for their PA. JaCkky just behind Gabbi in terms of farm for now. Top lane, Arena has been dropped. Armel going to be in danger. He's going to simulate back up to the high ground, and now the Omni does come out once again from Gabbi. It doesn't kill anyone off though. They'll turn back around. Armel is going to die, but Tims jumps in. He kills off KuKu on the CK. It's going to be a 1-for-1 as Tims tries to TP away. He will get punished by JaCkky, and now they go into Febby, who's just trying to run, but he will not make it out either. Great team fight out from T1, and TNC maybe just getting a little bit too excited jumping in like that. The Jug is going to take a bit more farm to be as effective as they would have hoped.
Yeah, it's just a slower pace of the game for the Jug. You just don't have this early spike with the great crit that you have on the PA. You've also got great durability. SNY is done on Gabbi, but he's saving up for that NKB, and that does mean Baroche is set to go for T1. You don't have any heroes up here from TNC to counteract this. They are sort of close by though, so they might still opt to do something here.
They may. Ooh, but right does fly. Oh, Zephyr.
Is under attack.
Oh, poor old Zephyr. Gabby's just gonna stand there like, wait a minute, did that just... I guess it did just happen. Into the Roshan, Gabbi. An early Christmas present for himself. And that is a real disaster for Team 1. They lose a hero, they lose Roshan, they lose everything, and now they might even lose JaCkky. He's been caught out. The blood right's there. He can't blink away in time.
If you look long enough.
Oh, it's a disaster out for T1. In fact, Armel's going to jump in now. He has an Aether Remnant in a second. He will not catch up Carl, but instead he goes on to KuKu, who does kill off Febby. Arena's going to be dropped. Carl, a nice spear. In fact, it is only going to be on Armel, who is just fine. They can't follow up with the damage output, and that means KuKu is going to die in the CK. So T1, they went from a great team fight into a Roshan to losing Roshan and then losing a bad team fight. It was, it's a real problem here for this Dire side, and now they might even lose Carl. Hims is still going.
Oh.
Avalanche does connect very nicely. He tries to run out the other way, but he's been caught out. KB is there with the Rod of Atos into the Aether Remnant, into the Blood Right. He has help coming in, but Whitemon actually cancelled off the TP. He, I think Carl thought he was safe with the Undying coming in. Maybe a bit of a misclick coming out from Whitemon to cancel that, but... Oh, just a unfortunate series of mistakes being made by T1 is really starting to cost them.
Yeah, it's not looking good anymore. You've got this huge lead on Gabbi. He's 3k above JaCkky because of those deaths. And I'm not sure if T1's going to have anything to stop this. You've been talking about the CK and the Ags coming through, and you were asking me if they had enough on TNC's end. It looks like we might not even get to see it, as it's still about 1.3 away. 1.3k away for KuKu, so he still needs some farm. He doesn't have space on the map to do it. They're giving it all to JaCkky, and they're just not able to meet those timings. You've got some good item pickups here from TNC as well. Armel has his own Ags, so he's got that Resonant Pulse silence up, and that just gives so much more utility to their Void Spirit. They take a clean tier 2 for free. They still hold on to the Aegis. T1 have to find a way to win these fights. It's been messy for them in the past 2 engagements. Ever since they left Roche, they just bailed way too fast when it was low, and they should have known it would have been easily invaded by TNC.
Here they come, TNC jumping straight in. It's going to be Whitemon who gets targeted. A nice disruption is there from Zephyr. He will save the day for now. Whitemon will just heal up with the Soul Rip. If we're talking 5v5 team fight right now, I don't necessarily think TNC is going to outright win out the team fight. I still think you are very worried about the JaCkky PA in comparison to the Gabbi, the Gabbi Jug right now. But I dare say, I dare say once he has the Ags up on the Jug, that's when things get very, very scary.
It does, it does. I think even without the Ags right now, it's still pretty darn nice. Like, he's got the NKB flying through. JaCkky needs this BKB, and he needs to use these initial charges very well in the middle of the fight. Even then, it's not necessarily going to keep you too safe, but it does increase your chances. Still, the high ground's being melted. Well, Gabbi's got to watch out for the magic damage from Zephyr.
Still has the Aegis, so he is kind of confident here. Eventually, he will back out. That Shadow Poison, it does really do a lot if you get enough stacks up. Still a big smoke out now, TNC. Of course, they did see JaCkky down towards the south of the map, so they could rotate that way if they wish. But it looks like the smoke was, in fact, broken by Carl on the Mars. So now JaCkky, well aware that they were trying to smoke into himself, and he's just going to go back towards his own base.
Dire's courier has been killed.
While the rest of TNC, they'll just continue controlling up the map. They do give the Dire jungle back the way of T1, but they get the triangle for themselves, which is a bit more valuable. And in fact, they aren't going to give it away for too long either. Armel's going to start roaming through this Dire jungle, and in fact, he does find out Zephyr. Aether Remnant is going to lock him down. The blood right there with the Rod of Atos. And poor old Zephyr just can't do anything about it. Now Carl is going to get run into by Gabbi, but he does have the Yules up. Be able to just use it and get himself to safety immediately.
Yeah, they've stalled out long enough here on T1 to have that BKB up on JaCky. Now the key thing is to use this well, to get their initiation right. They've got the Ags up on KuKu. They have used it, but they haven't shown it in a big fight. So they're going to have to get that off next. You do have the tools to start fighting now for T1.
Well, no.
Just a bit difficult.
Called the CK out. KuKu gonna be cautious. He's been silenced as well. He needs to run, but the Omni is gonna fly out. He gets the Axe ulti off, but Whitemon is not gonna be saved. Well, kpii getting the wrong illusion, and Carl will let him know about it. While that was happening, of course, the Aegis does also expire on Gabbi. But they'll back off. They'll get back towards trying to farm up that Aghanim Xepter on Gabbi. And for T1, I mean, the PA is looking strong, but nowhere near strong enough.
No, it's just not off to that running start you'd expect. They've been very passive with this fresh BKB on JaCky. Looks like they want to wait for the Basher, maybe even the Abyssal to be done up first. But that is going to be a little bit more time. The map control issue that you've been mentioning is still in play. Look at all the wards here from TNC, watching the triangle, watching the entrance ramp in that top jungle as well. Nowhere safe for T1 to roam with, and they do smoke up. They want to actually maybe get a good team fight going. They're going to have the Phantasm back up in about 10 seconds, so this is a good chance to get that off and get a win.
Into the mid lane, Armel would be a massive pick off to get, and they get the Yule Scepter off. Carl's going to drop the arena and gets the spear, and that should be one dead Armel, and it will be. Carl will return the tip back towards Armel now. Into that mid tier 1 tower they go. JaCky trying to get some damage out. They don't have a creep wave, but it doesn't matter because it is a tier 1 tower. They can slowly but surely just deal with it.
Tower has fallen.
That'll be it for T1. They get an objective, they get a kill, they'll get back to farming.
Yeah, waiting for these key pickups to be done here. JaCky should be a bit more comfy once he's got this Basher. He's got a way to keep the Jug pinned down. He does start getting a bit slippery. You also have the BKB up now on Carl, so he's not as worried in the front. He can be a lot more confident in throwing out his arenas and getting the setup for the team for T1. So a few more options in the initiation here. I'd say TNC, they are playing a bit passively, but you have the Ags and Gabbi, so more uptime on the DPS for a Jug, more ways to deal with the Phantasm spam with just the Swift Slash coming through, and they are stalling out long enough that they could probably just wait for the next Roche. We're going to find out in about half a minute when the respawn will be. Once that timer is up, and if it respawns fast enough, TNC could just go for an easier objective first before starting to pierce that high ground.
Outpost going to be taken here by Tims, but Carl is going to interrupt. Febby going to be there to try and be annoying towards Carl, and they are going to be able to get it prior to that 30-minute mark. But they do deny away the XP from T1. That'll give them a slight XP advantage here on TNC, I believe. In fact, I don't even know why I'm guessing. We can just check, and well, they were already pretty high up there, but it just goes even higher now. T1, they are still just kind of stuck, waiting for their PA to feel like she can fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
TNC, I believe they are probably going to wait out that next Roshan attempt, which should be coming up very soon. It's going to be 2 minutes away. Phantasm popped. Very low cooldown. You can just kind of throw it out like that. It's like KuKu's just trying to use it for scouting purposes for now.
Not much else you can do with it. They do get the Basher up on JaCky in the downtime. So with the information out from the illusions, they could maybe make a play, but they are in the low ground, so it's a bit of a risk.
Febby gonna get jumped straight off the bat, but Armel is gonna be there trying to just burst down Whitemon. He's gonna survive for now as the arena does jump through, but the Omni Slash is there. Xepter coughing so much damage, and JaCky is already dead. Gabbi tipping in the middle of this team fight. Carl will just blink up to the high ground and TP out, but KuKu has been left behind on the CK, and he is set to die. A triple kill out for Gabbi. That was a great little swift slash into the Omni slash, baiting the side of T1 in.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just saw how fast the PA just melted to the damage of Gabbi.
That is a
TNC, John, they're looking very close to going straight through to the grand final. In fact, Tim's trying to jump in, does get used up, but they'll get Whitemon instead of Carl.
Dire's top
And that top lane of barracks is not going to last very long at this rate. In fact, Armel going back in now after the Mars. Resonant Pole silence. There's your remnant as well. Gabbi going to be there with the spin out, and with the run of Atos, they are going to hold him down. Into the mid T1 tower they go, TNC. Trying to find 2 lanes of barracks, and I believe they are going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah, there's just no defense here from T1, no buybacks. They need their Mars up to really force a fight out. They're probably going to lose all their racks, quite honestly. There's just nothing to stop TNC. Buyback is up on Carl, but this is just ridiculous. Gabbi has the shard up as well, so he's got an extra attack from his Blade Fury while he's spinning. Always nice to see these shards being picked up. Respawns are coming in, but I don't know if they have enough damage.
Well, they're going to try. They pop the Phantasm. They go straight onto Gabbi. He's getting a lot of damage dealt to him. He's going to be all right for now. He's trying to spin away. They'll jump back onto JaCky, but JaCky is willing to try and man fight this one out. Meanwhile, KuKu also dropping low in that arena. The Blood Ride is going to be very nice, but they get Tim's. KuKu does also go down. Now Armel being used up. Can he find his way out? He should be able to. He does have to step up. Carl is going to chase him down. Dagger does actually connect. Armel has another dissimulate soon. Spear will not latch. Another astral step into the TP, and he believes he is out of there, and I would agree with him. A very nice kind of escape there from Armel, and Tim's will give him the tip for that.
Yeah, it's still, I'd say, a good last-ditch defense to save their last set of racks. We do find some punishment here on T1. Whether or not that's enough to shake it off is a different question, yeah?
New item, John. How do you pronounce this?
Regeneration.
Is it a silent P? Glaney? Or is it Gleipney?
I don't know how to pronounce stuff like that. I would say Gleipnir because that sounds more fun.
No. Gonna find out Whitemon. Take him out. Now Zephyr trying to fight back. He does have the Aghanim Xepter available on the Shadow Demon. So he's got plenty of those purge charges, and they desperately need to try and stop this Roshan from going to the way of TNC. That Roshan is going to make it so they can go for the Megas, and in fact they jump back in. It looks like Tim's going straight after Zephyr on that Shadow Demon, does burst him down. Swift Slash is there from Gabbi. It's only on illusions, however. Carl going to blink away on the Mars, but the 8th Remnant out from Armel, catching out the CK, and this one of Atos is Gleipnir or whatever it is, just flying everywhere from KB. They catch out the CK. I believe it does damage now as well, right? Damage.
Yep.
After the root comes in. Not too bad.
I'd say it's really darn good. They're giving the Atos an upgrade path, more utility down in the game. Always nice to see that scalability. TNC get a clean rush, have the Aegis cheese now. They can just opt to run their bodies down into that last set of racks. And T1, their options are really limited. They've still got decent farm on JaCky. He's saving up for Divine, but it's not going to be up in time for the defense here.
No, it definitely will not. He's trying to keep that bot lane pushed out, but TNC, I'm pretty sure, just going to ignore him completely. Beer to get started from Carl will provide them some time. Tim's doesn't get the avalanche he wanted. Gabbi. Oh, JaCky jumps in. He wants that Aegis to the Immortal, but Gabbi is going to be able to get the Omni off. Not going to be enough, but Gabbi, he does eventually get the kill. In for more KuKu. He stuns up the Junk. They please kill off the Aegis. They can. JaCky, he brought back for that. That's the first line. Carl, Spear is going to be nice. Onto the racks. Gabbi getting very, very low. Is going to die. JaCky, he gets a double kill. They need more than that, though. After Febby they go. The Enchantress should also be dead, and JaCky will be able to get a triple kill as they go back into the bot lane after KP, who's just trying to man fight this one out, and he almost takes them out. But an ultra kill out for JaCky. And that's going to mean they at least hold on to that final lane of barracks. And that's certainly going to be good news for T1.
Yep, they're now really relying on those last set of Rex carrying them through. Gives them a playable lane, gives them some source of gold still in the lanes as well. So JaCky, buy back down, in a bit of a risky spot for the next 7 minutes. He is just going to opt to try to buy out that Divine. It's an all-in play now. And all they can hope for is just getting those lucky crits off. If the PA is allowed to do this though, this is a very scary moment for TNC. And they're going to have to watch themselves here. Some opportunities for T1 to get a couple of objectives. Maybe a tier 2. Doesn't look like they have that much time left really to get that done. But taking the Aegis away is already a really big win. Like TNC now, they're going to be a little bit more cautious going to the high ground. They still hold a cheese, but it's not going to be enough. Although KuKu.
Yeah, Armel wants to have a crack at KuKu. KuKu is a bit tanky to take out by himself. Does eventually back off to come back with his team. TNC just hanging out as 3 in their base. That Divine, 1.2k gold away now for JaCkky. Like you pointed out, that Divine, it's the Hail Mary play. It's the last option they really have. But it is going to make it a very, very scary game for TNC. And it only takes one bad team fight to turn this game around.
Yeah, and that's really it. Like T1's just teetering on the edge. If they find a big win, they might be able to push it all the way back, take a couple of tier 2s, even out the map control. And suddenly they're back in this game. Have to point this out as well. Tim's actually went for the shards. So Craggy's back, baby.
I mean, why not though, right? Like 20% chance that they stun themselves. Yeah. Kind of nice up against PA. It is very infuriating to have to play up against. Especially if you are JaCkky and you're just trying to kill someone quickly, but then you get stunned for a second. It's not going to feel very nice. Could mean the difference between life and death.
Something that they've got to be aware of on the side of T1. They are really inching towards that Divine here, Mike. 600 gold off for JaCkky, and then I think that's when they start casting the dice and seeing where it lands. TNC for their part, just invading that jungle once more, taking the outpost right before the 40-minute mark once more. You could expect T1 to maybe invade the bottom outpost in exchange, just to get some EXP going. Didn't get the pings out. Whitemon will get started to even out where they can play on the map here for T1. I was going to say Dota Plus was going to say something, but it says 100% for the side of T1. So,
Dota Plus always knows, John. It always knows. It's been 100% chance this whole game, so I'm glad I spent my money wisely, John. Doing a great job. Thank you, Dota Plus. TNC going to keep moving as a unit with this smoke up into the mid lane.
Gotta watch out here, Mike. Divine's up and JaCkky. So if they get caught behind, that could be a couple of kills going their way in T1.
He's critting for 3k right now. That is a very scary predicament here for TNC, and they do not know about it. Carl actually pops the Minotaur horn for some reason. Might have needed it too, as they look like they are going to engage. Febby. Oh, he just gets destroyed by JaCkky. Immediate crit out with the dagger. And now they know for sure he's got a Divine Rapier up. They get the Yules up though on Gabbi, but he'll spin away. Febby will buy back. Jump in. Oh, KuKu. There's the craggy coat we talked about. He gets stunned up, and now the Swift Slash is going to be there. Xepter with the save, with the disruption, but it is not going to be enough. They've lost the CK, but he will buy back. Now the Omni flies through. Whitemon dropping way too low. Carl's in trouble as well. The Mars, can he survive? It doesn't look like he can, but he gets the spear off in time. It's not going to be enough though. So JaCkky with the Divine Rapier. He rips Gabbi to shreds. Going for more now. The Hail Mary play. Trying to fight by himself. The rupture toss away JaCkky. He's not dead yet. Armel's trying to find him. He gets bashed up. Needs to find a way out. He's going to try and fight. kpii doesn't get the kill. Where's the Divine Rapier?
You did your best.
Did Armel get it? Yeah, he did. Stilson runs away as kpii will stick back around to go after KuKu. There is no buyback available right now on JaCkky nor KuKu. And that should be enough to go for the GG push.
Definitely. Armel hits like an absolute truck. 500 damage per right click on our Void Spirit. It was so close. It looked like the PA was going to get it, but when you rely on luck, sometimes the dice just doesn't roll your way.
kpii going to just jump straight in. Carl, oh, he would have loved that spear on kpii, but it's not going to be there. Very, very close call. That'll be your first tier 4 tower gone. Febby gonna get started on the other. Of course, he doesn't really mind too much if he dies. Now Armel gonna jump in, but misses the Aether Remnant. He just wants to buy as much time as possible. The thing is, he is the Divine Rapier carrier, but he's gonna go for the dieback onto Whitemon. The spear is gonna come out with the arena. They can't afford to lose this Divine now. Armel dropping low, but not low enough. He's gonna be able to dissimulate out, and the Ancient is exposed.
Bottom tower
They still have 50 seconds without KuKu or JaCkky. And they're gonna come back in. Spear is gonna be there onto Tim's, but Armel straight into the backlines going after Xepter. No, it'll be Whitemon going down. That's a dieback. Armel still wanting more. We'll kill off Xepter on the Shadow Demon. Going back after Carl, but the GG's been called, and we do have our second grand finalist. It is gonna be Predator winning this lower bracket final 2-0. Does mean they'll go back up to the